If you want or need an extra $100 by the end of next week, do you have a way of getting it? If you've got an internet connection, you probably could. If you've got a car or a bicycle, even easier. Have items in your house that you don't use it anymore? Piece of cake to make $100. It's never been easier in the history of the world to make more money. Today, we've got 3 ways to increase your chances of success.
Hey, and welcome to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast. We believe when conventional financial thinking doesn't get you where you want to go, you need wealth wisdom. So hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and comment below, and we would love to hear from you. First, I want to make sure that you check out the other episodes that we've released this month about making more money. I mean, we're talking about a lot here, but some of the other ones are really, really good. So first, we warned that the pursuit of more could put you in a very dark place. By going after more and continuing to go after more could put you in a bad place if you don't watch out. Then we talked about how banks make more. Like, that is a very great business model. So learn from them. We had an episode about money manifestations and making sure you have the positive mindsets. Then the last episode was about how difficult it is to make more money. And we'd love you to check those out. But now we want to talk about how you can find success in your way of making easy money in the gig economy, through real estate, through e-commerce, through whatever. I mean, there's so many ways to make more money today.
I feel like I want to give, in true wealth wisdom fashion, a reality check, because often we don't realize just how easy it is, historically speaking, to make money. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, electricity.
Right. Well, let's go back to the nation of England. England was the first place where capitalism really took root, and we could go into all the things there. But let's imagine we're just a peasant in England at the time, late 1700s. Industrial Revolution technically kicked off about 30 years ago, but it's still in its infancy. Capitalism is still a baby.
Yep.
And you remember as a kid living as a serf in feudalism, as a tenant farmer. There was this big castle. The guys that lived in the castle, they were the ones that had money, and you rarely even saw money. Maybe had a little bit here and there from different things, but you're mostly trading goods, getting food. You lived in this different society. But now that you're an adult, capitalism is kicking in. You now live in a city.
Yep.
You work in a factory. That's the only place you can work, and you get paid money to work there. And you can just imagine the contrast between growing up as a farmer, seeing your parents work really hard during the springtime to plant, work really hard in the fall to harvest, but having a lot of leisure time, right? You could only work sun up to sundown. You had the whole winter where maybe you could do a little thing to start preparing for the spring, but you couldn't do much. And now you've got these factory owners asking you to work 6 days a week, year round, as long as you can. They've got oil lamps set up in the factory so you can work overnight, and yet you're still scraping to get by, right? It was really hard to make money back then. And today we could argue whether we're in a capitalist society or whether we've gotten beyond capitalism. But one of the interesting things is just how easy it is now to make money, relatively speaking. We don't have to go work in a factory. We don't even have to work for someone else. Yeah. We can branch on our own. And one of the things that evolved throughout the Industrial Revolution was more people working on their own and continue to do trades and employing others, and probably much more vibrant in the 18 and 1900s than today even. But still, it's really easy to make money. Don't want you to lose sight of that as we go through here. Relatively speaking, historically speaking, it's never been easier in the history of the world to make money.
Yeah. So our ideas here are, again, 3 big ideas on how to make it even easier for yourself to make money. Again, we talked about some of the pitfalls, things that we think it might be easy, but we don't do the work effort, right? And
how it takes money to make money. That's the last episode. Yeah.
So go back to that one. But it is really easy to make money. And how do we do it? So, because again, I'm seeing it happen regularly. First thing you want to do is experiment. and get ideas from everywhere. If you're just starting out, you got to kind of figure it out a little bit, right? Experiment, get ideas from everywhere, do research, try things out. Don't get stuck too narrowly focused at first. You don't want to just say, oh, I want to do this. And you would go into it kind of like we get a degree from school and we realize I didn't even like that, right? So don't get too stuck on doing something, just learn, experiment. That way you can actually find what you like, right? There's so many people I've seen that have gotten stuck where they've done the e-commerce thing. They've done Amazon. And then they realize that things have changed from when it first started out to now. Amazon kind of figured out, hey, we can make some money off of them. So they changed. So then what the sellers have done is they've adapted.
Change different platforms.
Platforms. So,
and if you're wanting to do some research, explore different things, whatever way you're trying to make more money isn't working right now, you could just Google. There's all kinds of YouTube videos out there about all kinds of different ways to make money. And not all of them are legit. You got to be careful.
Yep.
And that's why we have number 2.
Yeah. Number 2 is focus. Choose a single mentor, teacher that you are their ideal client and is a current teacher, right? It's not somebody who might have taught how to do real estate when money was super easy to come by, but is doing real estate deals in 2023 right now and can teach a thing on how it actually works and how you can make money. So you want to find mentors, find guides, find teachers that are current and that you may be their ideal client. Maybe even just a few steps ahead of you. They're not even like so big like Tony Robbins kind of thing, but they are, just maybe 5 years or four years ahead. And they have learned a few things and they're able to teach you. That's why it's really important to find a mentor or guide in your whatever you're going to focus on.
Yeah. So it might sound contradictory. Experiment, research, try different things, and focus. They're kind of 2 different steps. At the beginning, you try all kinds of different things. Keep your mind open as you start to focus and narrow in. Because if you're drawn in too many squirrely directions, you're probably not going to make more money. Yep. But if you can focus and instead of learning from 10 different people, pick 1 or 2 to learn from and follow their guidance so that you can make sure that you're going to implement correctly how to get to the make more money that you are dreaming of.
Yeah, because those are the ones that make the money, is the ones that hey, they are heart surgeons. They are this, not just generalists, right?
Yeah. And then number 3, some of you don't want to hear this, but you need to. You don't have to make your money with your passion. Do you remember Will from Good Will Hunting? He worked as a janitor at, I think, MIT, but he was a mathematical genius. That was literally in real life, Isaac Newton, the one and only Isaac Newton. He worked as a servant for other students so that he could go to Cambridge. Then, because he was a Protestant when there was a Catholic king, he decided to give up on science and being a professor and all that. And he became a government banker. Yes, the guy who I think he's known for discovering gravity or something like that, he became a government banker after he did all of that because it just wasn't the political environment for him to make money from. And so he kept his head down, he stayed out of trouble, and he made sure he did not starve. He even disguised himself and went into taverns to find counterfeiters as a government banker. Can you imagine one of the greatest geniuses of all time sipping beer in a pub and looking for fake coins when he could be advancing calculus and physics? If it was good enough for Isaac Newton, I think none of us should ever feel like it's below us to have an okay job to make sure we don't starve or go into debt or what have you.
Now, this is where I hear people say all the time, I can't get an okay job because it'll stifle my time and ability to make more money. I don't want to be in that W-2 world. I want to go focus and be a business owner because I can make a lot of money that way. Again, go back to our last video on that one. But, I've seen it. I've heard it time and time again. And honestly, it is still hard to make money, but it is very easy as well to make money.
Yeah. And if you're going to really, truly build a side hustle that becomes your full-time hustle, if you're going to truly make enough money to replace your W-2, chances are you're going to have to live like you've never lived before and will never live again for a short time, so they can live like you've always wanted for the rest of your life and make the kind of money that you've always wanted for the rest of your life. We did that. Yeah. We had to give you a couple details here. We had the concept for our first business in 2007. We used our vacation time from our W-2s to go on a business plan writing research trip in 2008. In middle of 2009 was when I finally left my job, when they had announced layoffs anyway. But I still worked. I worked as a barista at a coffee shop. I did babysitting. I did what I could. Brandon stayed at his cubicle job. And even after we opened the coffee shop in 2011, his plan was to stay at that cubicle. While we were doing grand opening, he went down to part-time. And then the plan was for him to go back to full-time and just do some nights and weekends at the coffee shop. And he just realized a few months in, he couldn't sustainably live that way. And so he left, but I ended up taking a W-2 job while we were still owning that business. It's okay. Actually, it's more common than you would think for most business owners to still have another kind of job to make ends meet along the way.
Yeah. And it just requires, again, sacrifice, living like you never lived before, and realizing it is easy to make money, but it's also takes work.
Yeah.
So
to recap here, be grateful for your time and place in history. Let's never underestimate just how easy it is to make money, historically speaking. And then do some experimenting when it calls for that. Don't get so stuck that you are trying to make money in one way and it's never going to work that way. But then also focus. Don't experiment so much that you don't ever actually make money because you're pulled in too many different directions. And it is okay to get a job in the meantime as you're going. Now, the final thing that makes it easier to make more money is having a process or a system. A lot of the people that are listening to this video, you've made it this far, you're a business owner or a real estate investor who's close to the end of that live like you've never lived before time. And you're trying to be like, I just need to make a little bit more money so I can start enjoying the fruits of my labor and not work so hard. You hear me? I hear you too. I know. How you would answer this question. Are you ready to keep making more, but do less to make it happen? Can I get an amen?
Yep,
absolutely.
For sure.
Then join us as a Wealth Wisdom financial community as a Wealth Builders Premium member. As a premium member, you get exclusive access to our practical how-tos to grow your business and expand your wealth while cutting down the time and the effort that it takes so you can enjoy the money that you're making. You can join today at wealthwisdomfp.com/community. Again, this is all about mastering wealth building, but we give you the cheat sheets, the checklist, the things to make it actually take less time. Again, it's wealthwisdomfp.com/community.
Yeah. And I do think there are so many tools there that have helped us that we're pretty much giving to you to help you do it faster. So thanks for joining us. So don't forget, hit that subscribe button and live long and profit. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only, not for the purpose of providing legal, counseling, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.